Hi guys, welcome back to another segment of Makeup and Talk with Janelle's. Before we get started, please like and subscribe and share my channel. Also, feel free to comment. I will respond back to you. My channel is currently at 7 subscribers. Thanks to you guys. You guys are awesome. Definitely trying to grow my channel. At least let's try to get to 10 subscribers. So please share my channel to all your friends, family, on your socials. Help me out. Alright, so I can continue to bring more content to you guys. Alright, so today what we're going to talk about is the Moderna vaccine. If I have time, we're also going to talk about some documentaries I've been watching because, you know, I just love to talk about that stuff. So, here we go. Alright guys, so in true fashion of my channel, what I've been doing lately is I have not had my makeup ready, and today is no different. So we're just gonna move forward. Okay, so the reason why I picked the Moderna vaccine is because I took the COVID vaccine. I do work directly with patients, so the hospital that I work at, they were doing all employees that work directly with patients, like face to face. They were offered the vaccine. You could have declined it or not. It's up to you, but they did offer it. And for me, I was on the fence. I'm not going to lie. I did do a segment where I was telling everybody, you know, if you're offered it, take it. And I do believe that, yes, you should take the vaccine. I always felt that way. But I was on the fence because I felt like, excuse me, if no one around me is taking it, then I shouldn't take it. There's something wrong, right? So that's what I said to my team. I said, listen, I see and I hear all these things going on, and I'm absolutely terrified. You know, like, I'm scared. You know, that's why certain things I don't watch on TV, because it scares me. Mind my hair, guys, it's super fuzzy. I have not, like, I've been out of work. Well, I've been not out of work, but I've been, yeah, basically I've been out of work for now 4 days, and because I'm off. And so I have not been really, like, dealing with my edges, so my hair look a little crazy. But I told my team, like, listen, if I don't know anyone that didn't take the vaccine, I'm not going to be in the first round to do it. Like, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to be, like, in round 1. I need to see how everybody I know fares, right? You know, like, do they survive? Like, are they growing weird things? Did they get sick? Like, I don't care what the news says. I need to see with my eyes, with people that I know, like, how that affects them. So that's me. That's what I did, right? And then so news came that 1,300 people, I think, got vaccine within the first round at my job. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And you know, we're a hospital, and we have like 5 hospitals in our, like, umbrella. So it may 1,300 may not seem like a lot, but within the first round that came out, which was Pfizer, the first one that came out, 1,300 people got that sucker done. I was like, wow, let's do it. Not me, but I was like, that's awesome. Maybe it's something I should consider. Let's do it did come to my brain, but I still was not the first one. I think I was like maybe the third and final group, because they was running out of vaccines. So they were like, this is the last one you can take until further notice. Okay, that's the group I was in. So my coworkers around me, they all got it done on the same doggone day. One was at the hospital, and the other 3 was, one was at the hospital, 2 was with me that day in the office, and I think 1 like went the next day. So they all basically was at the same time, but they all had it done. And I'm watching them, and I'm talking, and I'm asking questions, you know, what are your symptoms? Like, do you feel like you're dying? You know, like, what's up? One of them, actually, she felt absolutely terrible. She missed work the next day. She had to be at a different site, and she missed work. She wasn't feeling well. Right? I was like, okay. And then she came back. When she came back, her time to come back, she came back and she told us about her symptoms and her experiences or whatever. And I was like, okay. And then the other one was like, no, not really. I just had arm pain. I'm fine. And then the second round, which was the one more person in my office, she had arm pain, and then she just felt I think a little tired, but she was in the office. Like, she came back, she didn't miss a day. All right, she was good. Like, the next day, whatever, she was doing it. Okay. So then I'm like, all right. And it was like me and my boss. Like, my boss was out sick, so she didn't get it done. So me and my boss went, we got ours, and we got the Moderna. Everyone else in my office got Pfizer. Me and my boss got Moderna. So that's why I'm going to talk about Moderna today. All right. So the first time I took the Moderna vaccine, my arm hurt. Like, think tetanus shot. Now, we all have had the tetanus shot. If you haven't, or you don't remember, if you step on a rusty nail, you will get a tetanus shot. It will hurt like hell. Your arm will hurt for days, okay? And that is exactly what this shot did to me. The first round and the second round, my arm hurt for 4 days. Today is day 4 of me out of work, and the pain in my left arm is like very slight right now, okay? But it hurt like hell. Like, it was the absolute, not going in. It's after they done inject me, my muscles like, what the hell you just did to me? It's basically the same reaction it gives me when I when I get my tetanus shot. It's like, what the hell, Janelle? We were perfectly fine, and all of a sudden you stuck this thing inside of me, and now I'm gonna make you regret it. And I do, because it hurts. So that was that, right? It hurt. And then my arm went absolutely numb. Like, it was so numb that the only reason I knew that I had an arm was because I can see it. Like, it was attached to me. So that was day 1, because I worked. Like, I went and got my shot, went back to work, and I had to work. I can't take time off for getting the shot. I just can't. So I had to go back to work. Right? The next day, thankfully, was my day off. I took it on a Thursday. Next day was Friday. That was my day off. Okay? Now I'm only going to talk about me, because I can't remember if my boss had any symptoms. I don't know. I just know what I had. All right, so the next day I felt kind of fine. I did a video like I'm doing now. And then I got really queasy. I didn't feel right. I felt like I was coming down with a cold. I got really tired, okay? And then with all this tiredness, the best way I could describe it to my boss and my team is by getting hit by a bus. When you're sick, right before you get the tightness of your chest, or fuzzy head, or the runny nose, your body get exhausted. You're just like, ugh. You just can't really move and do anything. It gets really achy and just sluggish, and like everything just hurt. That was me. First shot. That was me, okay? Now, I got stuck on Thursday, okay? First time, February, stuck in Thursday. My arm went numb. That's it. My arm hurt. Like, the pain was there, but my whole entire arm down to my hand was absolutely numb. It was terrible. All right. Middle of the day, which was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, is when I started feeling ill, okay, on Friday. And I felt that way all the way until like Saturday night, early Sunday morning. All right. Now, within that time frame, on Saturday, my tongue started to irritate me. So I looked at my tongue. My tongue was swollen. And I was like, holy hell. Holy crap, holy hell, holy whatever. So I sent a text message to my team. I'm like, hey, did your tongue swell? And I sent them a picture of my tongue. And they're like, no, we're all good here. And then they were all sending me emails of talk of this thing called COVID tongue, right? But COVID tongue only occurs pre-vaccine, right? Mine occurred post-vaccine. Basically, after I got the vaccine is when my tongue swole. Now, within that time frame, I was, I had to go see the allergist or whatever. And they all speculate, because I found it on a Saturday and not the next day, it had nothing to do with the vaccine. right? But no one knew. Even my job, like, well, we're not actually sure, but because it was on a Saturday, we don't believe it has to do anything with the vaccine. My tongue don't swell just to swell. Like, I do have skin that if you squeeze my arm, I'm gonna swell up. If you scratch me, I'm gonna swell up. If you hit me, I'm changing colors and I'm gonna swell up. And you don't even have to hit me hard. I'm just gonna swell up. Okay, so that's just the skin that I have. The allergist called it something. I can't even pronounce the name, so don't even ask. Just don't. So, right, and then I was like, okay, fine. And then I had to wait 2 weeks. No, sorry, 4 weeks, because I just had it done. I had it done on Wednesday, just passed, and I've been out of work since Thursday. Okay. Before I had to go get my next one. Okay. So fast forward. Wednesday, I'm in line 6 a.m. in the morning because they don't open till 7. I had to work that day too, so I had to come early, right? And they asked me about if I had any effects, and I said, yeah, my tongue swole, my arm went numb, I felt like I hit by a bus. Generally, I felt like I had, I was coming out with the cold. And that's usually how I feel. Like, you guys might feel different when you come down with a cold. When I come down with a cold, that's the symptoms I have. So the nurse came up and she asked me all these questions. I was like, well, because it was like within like a couple days after, they didn't think it had to do with the vaccine. So they're like, yeah, cool, you're fine. You can get it done today. It's not an issue. Yeah, we don't believe it has to do with the vaccine. I said, okay, cool, whatever. But now I know my body, and in my heart, I feel like my symptoms have to do with the vaccine. Okay. So I went and I got it done. Went to work. Arm hurt me all day long. Got numb, just like it did. Okay. By the end of the day, I really wasn't feeling that great. I wasn't. Just felt off. Now, when I got home, I was all achy and just, I couldn't get comfortable in my bed. I couldn't lay on my arm because it just hurt like the Dickens. It just, oh my gosh, it just hurt. Like I said, tetanus shot pain, guys. Tetanus shot. All right, so think about your last tetanus shot, and that pain. That is the pain that was in my arm. Okay, so it was terrible. So after that, I went to bed. I woke up. Little TMI, guys, but I had the runs. The next day I had to go to the bathroom. I called in. I said, yeah, this not going to work. I got the runs. And I'm not feeling too good. And I wasn't feeling good. I was still achy. My arm was killing me. I'm running to the bathroom constantly. I'm like, okay, you can't bring that to work. Even if I didn't get a COVID shot, you cannot go to work with the runs. You just can't do it. Okay, so I told my boss. I asked, my boss asked me how I was doing. I told her. I asked her how she was doing. She said she was fine. She had no issues. Okay. All right. And so I'm home. I slept practically the whole entire day on Thursday. Okay. The whole entire day. By time I woke up around 12 for lunch, because I eat lunch daily at 12 o'clock. Okay. So I woke up in time for lunch, and I felt like I hit by a bus. I did. It was terrible. I could barely do anything, So I just tried to relax. I fell asleep again super early. Okay. And then Friday, same thing. I felt like I hit by a bus on Friday. I had a little bit more energy. Now, Friday is my natural day off. I called out on Thursday because I wasn't feeling right. So Friday was my natural day off. And I still felt terrible. Not as bad as Thursday, but I still felt terrible. Okay, so let me tell you my symptoms, all right? Because I've been hearing a lot of things going on, and I just want everyone to keep in mind that our bodies react differently to different things. So do not let what other people say scare you. You know your body when something new is introduced. You know your body when you have a cold. You know how it is. And that's how my body reacted when I have a cold. When I have a cold, I get extremely tired. I get super exhausted. I feel like I got hit by a bus. Everything in my body hurts. Okay? Everything, like blinking hurts. Breathing hurts. My teeth was hurting. Okay? So those are the effects. Those are the effects that I got. Symptoms that I got when I got my second shot. Okay? Because I was so miserable, I couldn't work. I just could not. I would be useless. Useless and cranky, and I was exhausted. Like when I tell you I slept damn near 2 days straight. I was only up for a total of 4 hours in 2 days. So that's 2 hours on Friday, 2 hours on Thursday, 2 hours on Friday. Okay, that was the total amount of time I was awake. Like I slept. Okay. And then after that, Saturday I felt a little bit better. Like the body aches was going away. The exhaustion was gone. The exhaustion was gone, but the body ache was going away. All right. And the queasiness was going away. My arms still hurt, okay? Still absolutely just hurt. And honestly, guys, the tetanus shot, that's why I call it, that's why I said it's like the tetanus shot. The tetanus shot hurts for days, and literally it hurt. This was the only shot that ever hurt for days. All right, was that one. So, all right, so that happened, and then today is day 4, and I have a very slight little pain. I didn't throw up. I did have a slight runs today. You know, I had a little bit yesterday. All right, but that's it. I didn't throw up. I didn't really like. I did have some chills the first day. I did have that. You know, like I said, you feel sick, you know, and when I get sick, those are the feelings that I have. All right? So today I'm just going to be using my favorite palette here, Maybelline. I haven't touched it since I started this with you guys. So I'm doing that today. I'm just going to try just any brush here. So anyway, so that happened, okay? And then all the time, for some reason, what I've noticed since is when I get sick, come down with a cold, my ears hurt. I don't know why, but you know your ears are connected to your mouth and your throat. So I'm sorry, your nose and your throat. So when I felt sick, they started to hurt me a lot. I'm trying to dry this out because I don't like my shadow getting wet. But anyway, so that's what happened, and now I'm able to this is just well, now I can function, and that's the Moderna vaccine. That's what I had done, and I would, you know, and my only concern, and I'm gonna tell you guys, because I did have concerns, and when they gave me the questionnaire, the women came and they were asking me if I have any questions, and I said yes. I said, my question is this gonna make me sterile? Am I gonna still have babies? Because I want children. Oops. I want children, and I refuse to introduce anything to my body that's gonna stop me from having children. And it was a nurse that was talking to me, and she was like, it does not link to women being sterile, so you don't have an issue. I said, okay, cool. So I did it. Like, I did it, you know? Like, when I had to get my fibroids removed, like, I had an OB. When I learned I had uterine fibroids, and they were big, and they were uncomfortable, and they hurt, I had an OBGYN who wanted to remove my fibroids, okay? And I cried, absolutely cried, because I don't have children. She's pregnant, right? You know, at the time of telling me to remove mine, she's pregnant, okay? And she didn't even bother to ask me if I want children. And she was like, well, we're gonna just remove them because it's better off that way. I cried. I talked to women like I just got a new job. I'm telling women I just met my business because I couldn't understand how this woman would want to take that away from me. You know, like, there has to be a better way. There has to be. And then I talked to, like I said, multiple women, and they were all telling me their stories and telling me about their doctors and stuff like that. And one of them told me about her doctor. She had already had her kids, but she had fibroids and really bad cramps and stuff, and he helped her. So, and she was like, she still has her uterus, you know. And I said, okay. So I went to see him, and I had fibroid surgery. He told me I would still have kids, because we talked for a long time. Like, if any procedure that's gonna get done to me stops my ability from having children, I'm not doing it. Like, that is me. Like, I don't care about what anyone else does. I don't care what anyone else says, because this is the body that God gives me, and he gave me the opportunity or the ability to have children. I'm not going to let someone take it away, especially if that's not my only option. All right. So I didn't let that happen. And then I also switched OBs. Like, she was not going to be my doctor after that day. I was mad as hell. And then I learned that a lot of doctors do that. You know, I don't know why they do it, but there are speculation that they do it to a lot of people of color. And, you know, they tell them that's all you can do and don't give them any hope. But I was determined, so I looked for a second opinion. So if you guys are young adults, I am 34 years old, okay? I am still childbearing age. I still have my menstrual cycle. And you guys have uterine fibroids, no matter what race you are, and your OBGYN is telling you to remove your uterus, and you want children, go get a second opinion, okay? Do not let them take that away from you, because those don't grow back. It's like your liver. That's it. You only get one, okay? And your ovaries can't do nothing if you don't have a uterus. So go get a second opinion if you want babies. I want babies, so I was like, I'll be damned if you think I'm gonna let you gut me like a fish. Hell no. So that was my approach. Okay. So telling you guys now. But, and she's like no longer my doctor. Like, when I met my new doctor, they were like, oh yeah, so have you seen, like, so this person's your OB? I was like, no, that's not. I said, she is not my OB. And I told them the story like I just told you guys, and I was like, no way. And they even looked at me. They was like, what? I was like, yeah. They was like, there are, nowadays, no. I was like, well, y'all need to tell her that, because she's going around telling women that that's all, folks, is all we can do is take out your uterus. We can't help you. She wasn't even trying to explore any other options, you know. Misdiagnosed me as well. She told me I have endometriosis, and then told me to find out I didn't. I just had big ass fibroids that's giving me heavy periods and causing me a lot of pain. All right. So yeah. So always get a second opinion. But anyway, that was it about the Moderna shot. So do not let what anyone tell you about all these different symptoms get you. My symptoms was the exact same. All right. So with that being said, if you are one of those people that's considering it, just listen to what I say as far as my symptoms, and just remember how your body reacts when you get a cold, because that's basically what it is. It's just reacting just like you get a cold. Okay. Excuse me. All right, guys. So we do have time to talk about those documentaries that I love to talk about. And the one, I'm gonna use this one, the newest one that I'm on, and of course, guys, they're always new to me. You've probably seen them already, but I have not seen them, so I always get super excited when they come across my screen and there's something that have been promoted to me. So this one is on Hulu. Those of you that have Hulu, definitely check it out. It's called Obsessed from ID, and or if you have cable on demand, I'm pretty sure Obsessed is on there on ID Discovery. All right, so here we go. Obsessed season 1 is all about stalker. Season 2, I surmise, it's about crazy ex-boyfriends. Okay, that's what I surmise, because so crazy ex-boyfriends and then crazy friends. So there's a crazy friend in there. I had to stop one because I had to go to bed. I was so tired. I had to stop watching it. All right, so the first one, when I tell you creepy, because like, have you ever had a stalker? Like, sit down and think about it for a minute. And like, have you ever had anyone in your life who didn't understand the word no? Whether you're male or female that's looking at my channel, no, I am not interested in you. I don't want to be with you. Or you're like, oh, hi, how you doing? All of a sudden, this person's everywhere you go, showing up all the time, right? Now, it may or may not have gotten to the level of what this documentary showed me, but I'm pretty sure if any of those scenarios happen where you told a person no, you're not interested, and they keep coming back, they keep following you around, or they're just there all the time, or they're calling you, hanging up, harassing you, all of that stuff, you were probably being stalked. If they found your family's phone number, they figure out who you are, like they find all your business and they start trying to weasel themselves into your life in some way, shape, or form, you were probably being stalked. Like, just call it what it is, right? So that was the first one. And honestly, guys, when I was younger, I did have someone like that, and scared life out of him. I was 18 years old. I'll give you a brief story here. I was 18 years old, and I lived with my aunt in Florida. Fresh out of high school, I was trying to be an architect, of course. Those who knew me in high school know my goal was to go to the highest level of art possible, right? And that, to me, in my brain, was architecture. So that's what I wanted to do. And I ended up moving down to Florida, living with my aunt or whatever. And I went with my cousin to a car dealership. Her boyfriend worked there as a mechanic. One of the guys there found interest in me. I did not care for him. I'm 18. He's like in his 30s. Pretty girls. So I was encouraged to go to like lunch or whatever with him, and I did, and I was like, yeah, nope, not really. And so because I really wasn't interested in this person, he found out where I worked, showed up at my job. He started calling my job, asking when I'm working. He dropped off flowers at my job. He tried to find out my address, and then well, before I moved, because I moved within this time frame, but before I moved, he actually found out where I lived. Like, it was scary. Okay, but let's reverse real quick. He brought roses to my job. Everyone in my house made a big deal about it. I was freaked out about it, because I'm like, I'm not even talking to this person, and he is like trying to basically force himself into my life, and then I don't want this color. Hold on, guys. I having a brush issue today. So he sent flowers to my job, and they came home with me, and I did not want them. Everyone else was like happy. I was like, ugh. And then he started coming around. We had a new worker, right? And so newbies don't really understand like the way jobs work. And one thing about any job, you don't give out personal information to anyone, right? And I only learned this because my manager called me and she started asking me questions. But he came to my job one day, and I worked at a gas station. Okay, came to my job one day and he asked for me. I wasn't there. And then he's like, when is she working again? And my manager just happened to be behind the wall sitting down. And the new girl went to go grab the schedule. And she's like, no. And she looked up and she happened to know this person. And she was like, why do you want to know her business? So he left. Okay. And then she told the girl, like, hey, do not give out employee information to anybody. Don't do it. If they're not like their family, not even their family, but just don't do it. So then when I came in the next day, she told me all about it. And I was like, well, I was scared. Like I said, 18 years old, I've never dealt with this before. I was so scared. And then so I was also going to school in Florida. I was going to the local college down there. And one day I was coming home. Now, this guy has never, like, I don't recall him ever, like, coming to, like, picking me up from work. I think I was dropped off somewhere, like, not picking me up from work, but, like, picking me up from my house. Like, I don't ever recall us having, we were never that close to where, like, I allowed him to, like, know where I live, okay? And so all the information about me he was getting from my cousin's boyfriend, because like I said, he worked at the car dealership with my cousin's boyfriend, you know? So he was getting all that, and unbeknownst to my cousin, her boyfriend would ask her, and she would answer, because, you know, we're both 18. We're both 18. He was 18, you know, so all three 18-year-olds not thinking nothing serious, you know. I think he was 18 or 19. Like, we were, because we all went to school together, so, you know. So we're not thinking nothing of it, right? This man showed up at my house. Like, we lived in an apartment complex deep in the back. And the main door, you had to go into a main door, and then there was like 4 doors. 2 apartments at the bottom, 2 apartments at the top. And I walked through the main door, and I was about to put my key into my door, and then I believe full-heartedly in God, so I'm going to say it. God said, stop and turn around. And I turned around, and that guy was standing right behind me. I did not hear him come in behind me. I didn't even see a car pull up. So he must have been sitting in that parking lot until I emerged, okay? Either coming out or going in. And I took my key out the door. And I was like, what are you doing here? Oh, you haven't been available. I'm trying to reach you, whatever. And I walked back out of my building onto the parking lot. Okay? Like, I did not continue to go into my apartment because it was just me that day. There was nobody else home but me. All right? And then I don't know what happened, but he left, and I got so scared. And then on top of that, he was married. I didn't even know this man was married. His wife started blowing up my phone. So of course that freaked me out because she thought I wanted her husband when I did not. Like, I wanted this person to leave me alone, right? Because he was calling me, so she saw my number, so she started calling me. Where did he get my number? From my cousin's boyfriend. So or in however they got that exchange. Okay, so that scared me. And then within that time frame, I moved, right? Me and my cousin, we went and got our own apartment. So I figured this would help me. I started dating a guy too, so I spent a lot of time with him. And what happened was he came back to the job. Okay, came back to the job looking for me again. And this time is when he tried to get my new address, try to find out where I live. And another manager was like, like, they were like, no. And then they told me, I was like, holy crap. And I started working overnights too. So that, in that time frame, I also started working overnight. So I didn't see him, thank God. And then my boyfriend used to come by at night. I don't know why he wasn't at home sleeping. He used to come by at night, he would check on me, and then I never told him I had a stalker, you know. And then circumstances happened that I ended up leaving Florida, and I moved to the Virgin Islands with my dad. I was there for about a year. And then when I came back to Florida, he forgotten about me, thank God. And I didn't go back to my usual hangouts. I did not go around people I used to hang out with, because he found a way to, like, put himself in all of my, like, hangout spots, right? And at 18, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, my aunt asked me if I'm okay, and I told her I was fine, but I didn't know how to handle this, and maybe I should have told her I wasn't okay, but at the same time, I didn't know how to handle that. So that what happened to me, and thank God, where I moved to St. Thomas Virgin Islands, it's an island. You can't just drive there. You have to get on a plane, and you have to go there, and you have to know who you're looking for, because you're not going to just see me, you know. So I was really happy that by the time I got back to Florida, he's moved on. I was so happy, because You know, I went out with my boyfriend all the time. I went out with my friends when I can. I was out with my cousin. I visited my aunts and stuff, but he didn't know where they lived, so there was no chance of me bumping into him, because at the time also I didn't have a car, so of course he couldn't track me to these other places that was outside the city I lived in Florida. So that happened to me. So when I watched season 1 of Obsessed, that brought that home. I mean, it was scary to me, because I'm like, damn, like I went through that, you know, went through circumstances like these women did, and thank God that it didn't go on as long as it did, you know. So if it did, I would have had to tell my aunt. I would have had to, because she worked for the police, so you know, she would have had to call her people, and they would have had to set him straight or whatever. But thank God that didn't didn't go any further than that. So I was really grateful for that. But a lot of these women, in Obsessed season 1, their outcome was not like mine's. A lot of them got attacked, and the ones that didn't get attacked, it was the grace of God that there was someone to stop it. Okay, definitely watch season 1, because stalking is a thing. It's a crime now in the United States, but it is a thing. Stalkers are out there, so you always want to be mindful. And women can also stalk men, so don't think that just because this documentary only focused on women, that women can't stalk men, because women can. Okay, so if your son, your boyfriend, your husband, your brother, your cousin, whomever come to you and say, hey, I'm being harassed, or I'm being stalked, or what do you think, is this normal? Don't push it under the rug. Like, listen to them and help them get through it. Call your local police department so that it can be resolved and this person can be stopped, because it is a crime. No one should stand for that type of treatment. Okay, guys, I'm talking a little too long. My camera told me that, so I'm trying to hurry up here. But with that being said, the next season is about boyfriends and friends. I'm gonna say boyfriend and friends, because the last one I watched had to do with a crazy friend. This person was an absolute nutcase. I actually have green metallic lipstick, but I don't feel like putting it on today. And I was trying to look for some eyeshadow on this. The only one that I see is the one that I don't want. I mean, not eyeshadow, mascara. The only one I see is the one I don't want. So, alright, here's one. I gotta turn, no. So, this one, you gotta watch this one too. It's actually really good. I'm talking about the last one I watched. Okay, so this woman, she lived in Brooklyn. Alright, those of you that are from Brooklyn, this one's for y'all. You probably heard this story. If you haven't, like, look it up. There's this woman, she lived in Brooklyn in these apartments. I don't remember the street, so don't expect me to tell you I don't remember the street, but she lived on one block and the guy lived on the next block, and she used to walk through his block all the time, walk down his block all the time, because her friend lived around the corner from him and it was a shortcut, was walking on his block. And that day she was walking and she had 2 coffees. She almost slipped, but she recovered and didn't spill her coffee, and so she was laughing it off. She happened to look up, and there was this Asian man sitting on the stoop. And before he can get up to help her, she gathered herself, and they both laughed it off, you know. And he was like, "Hey, I think it's in like Khalifa or something like that. You guys will find his name if you look up the show. It's good." And she's like, "Oh, hey, let's say her name is Jane. I can't remember her name, but her name was Jane, right?" And so she went on her way. He's like, "Hey, do you remember me from the other day?" And she was like, "What?" She's like, "Wait, the day I almost spilled my coffee?" He's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "How long have you been here? Are you new to the neighborhood?" He's like, "No, I've been here for 20 years. She's like, "I've been here for 20 years. Like, she grew up there, never seen that man before in her life. Okay? So he's like, "Hey, you should come up for coffee or whatever." And she really wasn't feeling that, because you know, you should come out with me for coffee, whatever. Let's get to know each other. We can be friends. She's like, cool. She didn't really want to go. I'm going to tell you this. If your brain say no, then tell them no. Don't feel bad about saying no. It'll save your life, okay? It will. It will. Trust me, I've gotten in situations where I'm like, I don't know. When your brain say no, do not tell the person you don't know or yes. Say absolutely no. Okay? So she was walking by again, going to her friend's house, okay? And he was there. And he's like, hey Jane, you wanna get coffee right now? And she's like, well, I'm a little busy. Well, she said, I'm not that busy, I'm just gonna go visit my friend here. He's like, well, then you got time. Now she was like, I really don't want to go. It's like, fine. But then she realized he turned towards his house. And she's like, wait, what? Yeah, it's upstairs in my apartment. I just met you today. I am not coming into your house. I'm not doing that shit. Not even to make a phone call. Bring your cell phone outside. If not, I will go and get my phone somewhere else. And the time of year it looked like, because it's like a newsstand right outside his building. So to me, it's like, oh shoot, it's not like, I haven't been to Brooklyn since I was 7. So those of you who live in Brooklyn, you tell me, do they still have those newsstands out there? Like, when you go and you buy the newspaper, are they still out there or are they gone now? Because at the time, there was newsstands out there, and that's what she passed to get to his place, right? So if anything, if I had to make a call, I'm going to the newsstand. I'm not coming upstairs to your house. Are you kidding me? Hell, the newsstands, don't they sell coffee? Like I said, I haven't been to Brooklyn since I was a kid, so I don't know. But so she reluctantly went upstairs, and so she got to know him a little bit. She was all getting all sorts of weird vibes from him or whatever. And his family lived in the Philippines, so he worked and sent them money. And it's not uncommon to hear, because a lot of those cultures, they do that. And he's not a citizen, so he basically just worked to take care of his family. He has a wife and 5 kids. He's been there for 20 years. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you sure you still have a wife down there? Because I'm sorry, my husband is not going to be away from me for 20 years. No. Like, he's not going to be my husband, so we're all going to be up there. He's saying, like, you know, his kids are grown now and stuff like that. He still take care of them. And all of a sudden, she was his only friend, right? He's like, come back tomorrow. She's like, no. He's like, you need to come back tomorrow because we have more coffee. So she got these vibes. She's like, no, she's not going back. So she purposely avoided his house. Well, one day he followed her. He started following her because she started saying she got all these things to do. She can't. So he started following her around the neighborhood. And one day she was with her friend, and she said to her friend, like, hey, is there an Asian guy back there? She's like, yes. So she turned around and she's like, hey, stop following me. I'm not following you. Yes, you are following me. Stop following me. He's like, well, okay. Are you going to come for coffee? She's like, no, I'm not coming. I'm not coming anywhere near you. You know, stop following me. Every day he would come to her house drunk as a skunk, screaming her name. Jane, 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 Jane. Like I said, I'm going to call her Jane because I don't remember her name, but Jane, 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 Jane. Kept calling her, right? And she won't stop. So one day she won't acknowledge him. So one day he got mad, took a brick. Now she lived in an apartment building, so I don't really know how he knew which apartment was hers. Like, she used to lock herself in her apartment because he would be out there for hours drunk, okay? And then when he leaves, that's when she would when she would come out. He threw a brick through her window. So she went to his house and she went off. I would have thrown that brick at his face because she had kids. And that brick went right through her daughter's bedroom window. If her kids were home, they would have gotten hurt. Okay? So she had to get a restraining order. She told her friends she had to get a restraining order. The cops in Brooklyn at that time, I don't know, but now, I mean, 2020 was a doozy. 2019 also, these cops in New York City. But in Brooklyn, the dude had a restraining order. They never arrested him. He kept violating. He what happened was he got her in his apartment because he won't leave her alone. And like I said, if your brain is saying no, listen to yourself. He was like, hey, come up for coffee. She's like, no. He's like, just one coffee. And this was like months she was ignoring him. So she finally said, fine, if I get some coffee, he'll leave me alone. That's why I just need to have 1 cup of coffee. She got into his apartment. This man had a giant sword. He tried to gut her like a fish. Okay? And it's only because his neighbor stepped out of their apartment and they caught him doing that is the reason why he stopped attacking her. But if his neighbor never came out, he would have still been attacking her. You know, you see how this looks super light? And I used the darkest green, which was this one here. It looks super light on me. I'm going to put that at the bottom. So he went back upstairs, right? And so she, you know, she had to go. She came out screaming, help me, help me, help me. This woman almost died. She went to the police station, went to the hospital. Then she went to the police station, right? And then he arrested him, $100,000 bond. She was hoping he would have gotten deported because, like I said, he's not a U.S. citizen. He did not get deported. His brother in Boston, I think it was Boston, bailed him out. He put his house on the market and bailed this man out. He followed her to her friend's house. Started calling her name again. Alright, she called the cops. The cops came, never arrested him, sent him home. Even though there's a restraining order against him and he's strict, he is violating that restraining order. Okay? They sent him home. And she said, well, she'll wait him out. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning. This man out there calling her name, trying to get her attention. Okay? And then the next day, she's still locked up in her friend's house. He's gone. So she's getting ready to go. She's telling him, you know, thank you for letting me stay. I'm sorry that I was, you know, here in your house or whatever. She looked outside. There was a maintenance man mopping the floor. And then, all of a sudden, water came through the floor. She's like, oh, your maintenance man just made a mess, spilled the whole bucket of water into your apartment. All of a sudden, flames came under the door. The dude threw Vaseline on the door. He was perpetrating as the janitor. How he got into her building, beyond me. Because they live in 2 different buildings. They were not connected, okay? And he threw that under there. Almost burned her and her friends alive. Alright? And then, I can't remember if they said they caught him or not. I can't remember. But, I'm sorry, this one is another long video. But, they caught him. But, anyway, she got out. I'm sorry, I don't know if they caught him, but she got out. And that was her crazy neighbor friend. So, definitely check it out. It's called Obsessed. I did watch another movie, but this movie is almost 50 minutes long, so we're not going to do that today. Alright, so we're going to do it another day. So check it out. Here's the look. I actually have some place to go today, so I actually put my contacts in because I got to see. I can't put my glasses, so yeah, it's a little different, but thank you guys for tuning in. Love you all. Please like, comment, and share my video, and I will hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Or toodaloo. That's what I like to do. Bye.